Good evening, everybody. Man, this is another interesting pod for the Because I Feel Like It podcast. We are here to discuss the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals, the Final Four, last standing in the NBA. You got the Timberwolves. Uh, you got the two teams we watched yesterday, the
Knicks, Pacers,
Knicks and the Pacers.
OKC.
And then you got OKC as well. You know, we got some differentiating stances on certain situations within the game, and we're going to also highlight what these four teams are doing and are not doing um, in in um, in these conference finals. So first, and I would be remiss to not mention my guy Nelson. Man, we got Marv coming on. He should be coming on in a little while. Got some things he got handled, but hopefully he's on in a little while. But this is going to be a good discussion to just talk about the playoffs in general. So let's start with I'm gonna start with last night's choking choking exhibition by not only the Knicks but also the Knicks coaching himself. Um, as we saw, you know, and it's crazy how it even happened. The entire game was played at the Knicks, or sorry, at the Pacers' pace. The entire game, um, from start to finish. Um, the Knicks got up by 16 with 4 minutes to go, um, and then it was a gradual decline. And then, like I said, they were playing. The Knicks were playing well. It started with Aaron Naismith, man, and shout out to Aaron, man. He did something crazy that we probably won't see for another 5 to 10 years at a minimum, you know. But my man, he stepped it up. He hit six threes within a 5 minute span.
Well, before you say that, I think that's a la Reggie Miller.
Oh no, that's different. And that's
He said six threes in how many minutes?
six. He hit six threes in 4 minutes.
Ooh,
Six threes, not one, not two. He hit six threes in 4 minutes.
okay. You got to pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. We've been working very hard, off the camera, and I caught one game, but I did see did Halliburton make the game winning shot?
It was no, it was his toe was on the line. It would have been a game winning shot from the three, but his foot was on the lines. But that shot took them to overtime.
Took him to overtime. Okay,
But
because I
even
did see
still, yeah.
when I
But
was
he
at work, I did
go
see one
ahead.
point the 16-point lead you're referring to, and I said, "Oh, the Knicks got this in the bag," because
Right.
the atmosphere was bananas, and everybody was going crazy, and and at the market in New York, everybody comes out from Spike Lee all the way down to Patrick Swayze. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but may he rest in power, Patrick Swayze. But yeah, so I know everybody was there. But just to have the Pacers be so resilient, and then Halliburton making that choke sign a la Reggie Miller. It was and then his dad too, also in the club or in a bar doing the same thing. That's a hey man, this it's lit in Indiana right now.
It I wouldn't necessarily. Well, yeah, I guess you could characterize it as that, but I don't think it was more of them being resilient. I just think that the Knicks got tired
Okay. Yep.
quickly, and understanding it's these two teams play at two separate um two separate paces. One team is full of greyhounds. The other team is full of slow. And I'm not saying they're old men, but they just play at a very crawling New York Knicks pace that they've been playing at playing that for the last 70 years.
No, they pound you, and they once
Yeah,
you get to and then here come the surge of Jalen Brunson. That's why they call him clutch. It seemed like he has a fifth gear in the fourth quarter, and
Yeah, no,
that's not going to work. That's not going to work against Indiana.
yeah, he had no gear in the fourth quarter. He had no gear in the fourth quarter last night because he was airballing threes, missed a couple free throws because the pace of the game caught up to them. They were speed racing with a team, and they in an '89 Chevy Blazer. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't have enough there when it came to the end. And then I heard it. Well, they just let up. No, that they used up a lot of their energy just to get to the point where they were at because the pace was so high, the pace was so fast. Like in the first quarter. The score was 38, 35, 38, 34 in the first quarter. That's not a score that favors the Knicks. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? It's not how they play. So if you have that same pace for all four quarters, you get to halftime. It's 72-68. You know what I'm saying? You get to the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? In the third quarter, it's 101, whatever, 95. You know what I mean? So now you get to the end, it's 138, 135. And then you get to overtime, right? And this is crazy. I'll set the scenario up for you. They were up 16 with 4 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 14 with 2:50. They were up 9 with 50 seconds to go.
50 seconds. That's under a minute. Wow.
Yes. And then they kept shooting, and then they couldn't, for whatever reason, they and then the worst part about it, within that 9, for in Indiana caught up with them. The Knicks got two free throws, one or Cat and Brunson both went to the line, so they were both 50% of the line in the last 50 seconds. However, they got 2 free throws and a bucket. So that's mixed in there. And that's mixed in in that 50 seconds. They got 4 points and they still tracked them down. You see what I'm saying? So for them to even get to that point, to lose that, to go to overtime, that's wild. And then once they got to overtime, the Knicks ran out of gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was already picking the Pacers, and I was being generous. I said Pacers in 6. And now that I'm starting to think about it, with the game, with the schedule and the games being every other day, I don't see it. And then the other thing is, Thibs plays 7 guys or 8 guys total.
Yeah, 3 off the bench. Yep.
And so you've already played one overtime game against a team that is used to and conditioned to play in a high-paced game, and you're not. And now you're going on that every other day schedule. This might be 5. They might get swept.
Well, just think about it. Detroit, they beat Detroit Knicks, and then they just recently beat. Let me see here. The team they just beat,
and they beat Boston.
Right. So, but that was a long, drawn out series. And at this point, you got to think about it. If you're using only 8 players and you don't have any rotation off the bench or that 6-man type of guy, it's just pluggers, those who are role players that come off, get the rebound, or have the hustle points, or just, or spot shooters. There is no plan or no adjustment, and you guys are tired and exhausted, so you become predictable. Now, Jalen Brunson, they do the pick and roll up top, but who else is really scoring? Hart, he's not really a scorer. He's a defensive guy that can make a bucket here and there. So with that being said, it's like Indiana, you got slashers, like you're saying, they got up and down pace. I was looking at the box score. Everybody was over 15 points. That's distributing the ball. That's moving without without the ball. So Indiana and everybody
you talking about for the Knicks?
for the Pacers.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody was under the starting five. Nobody was under 15 points.
Right.
And I said, wow, okay. So that tells me basketball 101 that they were moving the ball around, they were getting assists, and they were finding their spots. Without even watching the game, when you see everybody in double digits, you know everybody's contributing and having key and valid points at some point in the game. And I saw the one score 138, 135. So that means that they got hot at one point, Indiana. And where's the production for New York? It wasn't there, right?
They didn't necessarily. The thing is, it wasn't a thing of them being hot. It was just they played at their normal pace.
Okay.
Like they just keep going just like this. They just keep going. There's like no up, no down. They just play at the same pace. You have to, they make you adjust to that. You see what I'm saying? And what you've seen in the box score is what they normally do. So it wasn't an issue for them to even get to the overtime and they still looked like it was the second quarter because they are conditioned to run and keep running and keep running.
Let me mention this because we seen this throughout this NBA series, these playoffs, that is a blowout win, and then the next team comes out, and then it's the next team blow them out, and then it's a close game. And so I wouldn't jump too far and say this is, Indiana at 4 or 5 because these playoffs are just, up and down. You see what happened in Denver. 1 minute Denver's blowing them out, and then the next minute, it was Minnesota. So,
yeah, but this is, I would say that, but this is different, and I understand what you're saying. I get it. But what all those teams have in common is they all play the same pace, so it was easier for them. Other than OKC, all those teams play the same, so you can use, and then Joker, you know what I'm saying? With this in this particular series, there was a clear contrast. One team wants to play small, or one team wants to play slow. One team wants to just run and gun. Right now, and because of, and the reason I say that is because in those other series, they had time between those games. It would be 2 days between games, right? So let's say they
travel, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say, they play tonight. They wouldn't play again until Sunday, right? Now is, all right, we just played 40 or 55
minutes. Oh, 55 overtime, yeah.
Right, overtime. You know what I'm saying? We just played 50. I say it's 53 because I think it's a 5 minute. Is it? Yes, 5 minutes, 5 minute overtime. So they played 53 minutes, right? One team can, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to come back and you got to do that again on Saturday. You see what I'm saying? No, yeah. Tomorrow. They play tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
Right, they play tomorrow. So now that's not, to me, if I'm looking at where all of the advantages are in a situation like that, a high-paced team, a team that just doesn't slow down, a team that just likes to grit and grind you down, and you only playing 7 to 8 guys total, and some of them can't be and some of them aren't offensively inclined like Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say this is, and I hate to bring the analogy of football, but once a running team gets stopped, you got to pass the ball. You got to go air raid, and if you don't have anybody to catch the ball, if you don't have anybody to throw the ball, like Jalen Brunson, he's the only true scorer on the New York Knicks team.
Right.
And so now you got this one all-star, and he is going to double team counter, but you're going to figure him out. So who else you go to? You got everybody that has the rebounders. You got Hart that really can't, contribute if Jalen's not out there. So who's coming off the bench as your second guy? That's
exactly.
why I hear what you're saying. Indiana they got gunners. They got
Nembhard. They got Ben Mathurin. They got Shepard.
Nate Turner.
They got guys that's coming. The same caliber guys that's on the court. It's the same caliber guys they got on the bench to run that same pace. And then understand, like, Brunson was tired in the fourth and in overtime because of the pace. He's used to having complete control over the situation, even for both teams. Well, now with these two, with this series being alternating days, well, I'm telling you right now, they're going to order. And what they were doing is they were taking turns. Yes, can any one individual stop Brunson? No. However, you can keep putting fresh guys on him to wear him down. And by the time they get to the fourth quarter, that's exactly what happened.
So you got some improvement this year overall, just from the season now to the playoffs, of Mikal Bridges and OG. So Mikal Bridges had a great series against the Boston Celtics, but he's not reliable. It's not consistent. He gets it in spurts.
And he's tired. He's tired too.
Yep, he has a 15-footer, and he can shoot the three when he get hot. He's a streaky shooter. And then OG is more of that, I'm going to get a bounce, get a groove. I'm going to do a dunk, and then I'm eventually get you some points in segments. So, and then, of course, we know Mitchell Robertson, he can't hit a free throw to save his life, but he'll get you a rebound, get you second chance points. But if you look at it, man, PJ Tucker is old. You got Cameron Payne. You got Dylan Wright. Like, these guys are not producing at all.
But they're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to produce because they're at the end of their careers. You're talking about the 8 guys.
Yep.
Let's start there. You got Brunson.
Yep.
You got Bridges. You got Hart. You got OG. You got Deuce McBride, Deuce McBride. I think that's what his name is. Deuce McBride. Yeah.
Miles McBride.
Miles McBride. Yeah. They call him Deuce.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got him. That's 6, right? And then and Mitchell Robinson, who can't make free throws. So when you get him in a spot, he's stuck. No matter how much he can rebound, no matter how much he can block shots, when it comes down to the last 5 minutes of the game, guess who's not in the game? Him, because he's unplayable. In a place like that, he's unplayable. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this: Karl Anthony Towns, you consider him soft?
I consider him. I'm never going to say a man that plays a professional sport soft. I just don't think he's fundamentally sound.
Well, and I say it this way because, as you know,
fundamentals is situational awareness. He doesn't have great situational awareness, and he's not fundamentally sound.
Well, I say this as growing up, man, we had power forwards to look forward to. The David Robinsons, Charles Barkley's, the Sean Elliott's, like guys who was willing to bang, right? So it seems like when he goes to that layup and he drives to the hole, he kind of like lays it up and hook shots it, right? He doesn't have that elbow release up high. I'm going to, put my chin on your chest and raise the ball to the rim. He don't have that. It's always finesse. It's always finesse, right?
That's not right. That's fun. That's fundamentals, right there. What you are explaining or depicting. That's a lack of fundamentals, and that goes to that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. But his lack of fundamentals situational awareness is what Cat lacks. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because It's not, and I don't necessarily blame him. He is a product of the AAU circuit, and a lot of these guys are, where it's just up and down, running gun, no cut, no block, no picks, no set plays, no use of the mid range, no understanding of no understanding of either right or left block, no understanding of the top of the key, none of that stuff. These guys are just running guns. So anything back to the rim, face up, spin, you know what I'm saying? Like bump, fade away, or bump over the left or right side. They don't have that. These guys don't have this because that's not the way the game is taught. And that's why I said the other thing, him being situationally and fundamentally solid, he is not. And then if those two things get broken down, that's when you start seeing the whining and crying. Oh, they're fouling me. No, brother, you are 7 foot 275. Get in the. There's no reason why a Ben Mathurin should be guarding you, or a Halliburton should be guarding you. That's you. That's not. And I'm saying he's not soft. It's just how he wasn't taught all the facets of the game.
Yeah, he wasn't built like that.
Seeing, even though sometimes Shaq and Charles and Chuck can be a little bit overbearing. I get it, but I understand what they're saying. There are certain things that are innate to big men.
Yeah, I mean, barbecue chicken. Once you get down in that little block, you use your body as your advantage. That's why they got on Joel Embiid. Yeah, that's why they got on Joel Embiid. And when Joel Embiid realized the massive, man he was, then he started scoring. He started, getting points. He started dominating the game. Yeah. But you don't have anybody like that now. I mean, you got Joker. He's a finesse international player. So
yeah.
But the big man is not prevalent anymore. He's and he
bingo. Now, remember. Okay, so when we had that conversation off camera,
we can go to
that's what I'm talking about. That part. That's you. Just went back to what I was saying.
No, I hear you
about Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying? That is or Rudy. I'm sorry, not about Mitchell Robinson. But same thing. Rudy and him, the same darn person to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if they were that valuable and they could do both things, right? And no, it's no disrespect. Yes, play defense. However, a total basketball player is a basketball player that you can't. They won't leave the court. Yes, they'll get subbed out. You know what I'm saying, to get little breaks here and there, but at the end of the day, you need to be well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? You need to be well-rounded. And you need to be a guy, if you're a starter and you make it $270 million, and you mean I can't play you for the last 8 minutes of the game because you can't make free throws, or you can't make a standing a hook or a tip back or a 5 foot shot. I can't rely on you to even get a layup or a dunk on your own. I'm not asking you. And the thing, this is what I wanted to explain to you. I am not asking you to go and get a full tool bag. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to get in the rim or get in the gym. Give me 2 or 3 patented moves. Master those moves. Master them. And get in the rim or get in the gym and do it and work on it. Because guess what?
Yeah.
The more you can stay on the court, the more valuable you are to the team.
No, I hear you. Even Charles Oakley, even though he was physical,
he at least had down to 3.
He
right?
just had someone, when he passed him the ball, he can hit that. He can hit that 10-footer when he was open, and he'll drive the lane and even hit a layup. But he was physical. But what I was getting from is that when you have a defensive guy that he's going to get maybe 9 points a game or even less than that, some key attribute has to be blaring. So far as like the mental aspect, the psychological aspect, like the Dennis Rodman, like I'm going to get on your nerves. But you know what? Dennis Rodman knew the game. He knew how to get into his spots to score. I give you that.
Yes, that's the thing.
But you gotta have that
in the 80s and 90s.
You gotta have that pit bull on the squad nowadays, right? You got to have a Russell Westbrook, right? You got to have a
Amazing.
Draymond Green. You got to have, that guy that's just going to say, you know what? All right, I don't care what the other team is doing. I'm going to be the disruptor. You need that guy. But once again, I like what you're saying with that point. You need somebody to score. You need somebody. You need somebody to score points. Every team has a guy. Think about it. On Houston, who was it? That's always in almost. He can score barely, but who's it's
Dillon Brooks, but he's home. He's home. So the disruptor. Here's the thing, right? The disruptor, it's okay to have, but it's not the end all be all. No, you don't need one. You don't need one. You know what I'm saying? Because the Celtics didn't have one last year, and they won, right?
They won a chip.
Yeah, and they didn't need one. They just played.
But then again, we get on them, and then this is where when you was talking about offense, we just got on Boston Celtics for shooting so many threes.
Right.
Because offense is going, what happens? The other team comes back.
And but see, the thing is, I got on them for shooting threes, but the only reason I got on them for shooting threes because twos are available. That's why. Then this is why I told you earlier on about you need to be well-rounded. Even when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown came into the league, they diversified their offensive game. You see what I'm saying? They would go to the rack. They would pump fake from the three and go to the rack. They would pump fake from the three. Okay, when they first started, they would pump fake the three, step into the two, and make the mid. You know what I'm saying? They diversified. They don't have any diversity in their game right now. That's why they were 15 for 60 from the three, because they totally forgot everything that was inside that 3-point line. Mm-hmm. They forgot about it. Because the thing is, the Knicks knew that. They never made them guard them with inside the 3-point line.
So the Knicks had me the feel, and I'm gonna take you back a little bit. So you remember the bad boys of the 90s, right? You had the John Sallies, you had the Dennis Rodmans, the Joe Dumars, right? Everybody played a role. Bill Laimbeer was that disruptor guy, right? Mm-hmm. And then let's take you to the Detroit with Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, right? You had those guys, right? And then you had Rip Hamilton, who would run the floor, right? It would gas your defender, right? Because he would come off of screens, right? The Knicks had that type of feel for me, that rough, rugged, we're going to score. And then it was like they didn't have that third guy, okay? Because Michael Bridges, he was coming around the corner, but they didn't, Mikal Bridges, excuse me, but they didn't have that third guy, which I thought was OG. But then I thought about Karl Anthony Towns. Like he would have been a contributor. I mean, they traded for him, right? And then he was a presence.
He disappeared last night. He disappeared in the end.
He was ghost last night, but he had a scoring presence. So that was the mentality, I think, going into it. You bring in someone that can be the second guy, which was supposed to be Karl Anthony Towns from New York.
Right.
And
I'm gonna ask you this.
But the playoff experience he did have with Minnesota, did not really translate here because it's a different system with Tom Thibodeau. And what Tom Thibodeau wants is defensive guys, right? I need my rough and tough 5 guys that's going to grind it out. It's like Novocaine. We're going to do it over and over and over and over again until it works.
In this series, with this particular team they're playing, that does not work. Because right now, if you saw the game last night, Cat, after the second quarter, stopped running up the court.
What?
You know why? Because the pace was too high. So when he would sit down, guess who would come in after him? Mitchell Robinson, right? And when the pace got too high for him, guess what he started doing? Walking. So and this is what I'm saying, like, and the same thing with and OKC plays the same way. They play the same way that Indiana does. They just have even more skilled folks.
Man.
So understand, like, in this series, now we can transition to this OKC and in Minnesota series.
Okay.
Rudy on the last game they played, guess where he was at in the fourth quarter?
Oh, on the bench.
Yeah, you know why?
I see what you're going with this. Yeah.
Thank you. It all goes. That's what I'm trying to explain. It all goes to the same thing. Yes, you can have defense, but if I can't use you, think about it. If he can do this and that, again, Alex Caruso was on behind him, and he couldn't. They just took the ball from him because he has. And the thing is, I have no sympathy. If this was Rudy, year 1 through 5.
Utah?
Yeah. If this was 1 through 5, you got me. You got a valid argument. This is Rudy year 10. Okay? There is no excuse for you not to even have one move that you can utilize. Rudy doesn't, and then people's like, well, they don't give him the ball. And I love, I'm a guard at heart. I love my bigs. But can I trust it? Even just a basic bounce pass to the post. Can I trust him to turn around and make a consistent fundamental move? No.
So here's the thing. Nowadays it's pick and roll. So he's good for a pick and roll, you alley-oop dunk, right? Because that's what bigs do now, right? But my thing is,
you can find it, but that's the case.
But my thing is that you got Julius Randle, who's supposed to be this three-headed monster, right? So you had Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and then Anthony Edwards.
Right.
Julius Randle, he came from the Knicks. He actually came from LA. Then the Knicks, he started to develop and started, gain his ground. He started to get skills, started to get the post moves. Right. But he is, I think he's a spirited player. Like if he doesn't feel good, he's not going to play good. Like it's got to be something with him to, juice him up, or, he had a great day. He had some ice cream, with his kids or something. Like you could tell he's just a moody player, right? But then, you got a shot out, which is the 3-point shit. I got to give, because he's from Delaware, Dante DiVincenzo. Like, I'll probably mess your last name up, good brother. DiVincenzo, right?
DiVincenzo, yeah.
But he reminded me of like a Steve Kerr, or a John Paxson, someone that's going to have that set shot in the corner, and you're going to be able to pass it to him. But without Anthony Edwards, taking a one-on-one and finding his spots, you need somebody to score, like you're saying.
Right? It goes
but defense, and you got it, and this is cliche, defense win games.
It means nothing right now.
Not in this generation. I hear what you're saying. Not in this generation.
It does. It means nothing. It means nothing when you have a guy that is on the court. And I'm gonna tell you this. Rudy can't play offensive basketball, right? So guess what? If I know Rudy can't go anywhere outside of that second circle down low, right? Guess what that means? I don't. What does Ant want to do? He wants to drive. So I'm glad that Rudy stays there because he packs the court. He packs the paint. You know why? He's useless down there.
At the paint? Well, you talking about offense, right?
Offensively, yes, he's useless down there. So if I'm defending, let me look at this. I'm OKC. Ant's coming down with the ball. You already know you ain't got to worry about Rudy scoring. If I'm Rudy's guy, guess where I'm standing? Right in the paint, right next to him. Because I know he's not going to move.
Well, he doesn't have a floater. He doesn't have a teardrop.
Nothing.
But if he gets a pick and roll, he will dunk the ball, or he'll,
I'm not even worried about that. Why as a defender or the coach am I falling for any pick and roll that's going to have? I'm just staying with my guy. I'm not switching for what? I don't need to. I don't because I know your ass ain't scoring.
But we all know that he's won awards for Defensive Player of the Year, and that's what he's known for.
Right. But it doesn't. I understand it. It doesn't matter because on offense you're playing 4-on-5. The game has changed. This is a positionless game now. There's a reason why you don't see but only 2 of these bigs that's great now. And that's, and hope he comes back healthy, but there's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Joker and Embiid. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
that's the reason why you don't see him any. That's the reason why you didn't see.
But as a side,
Boy Hicker's going.
But as a sidebar, we gotta give a shout out to Minnesota for having 2 Delaware boys. You got Bones, Nashawn Holland, and then Dante DiVincenzo. They on the same squad, man. You gotta say
free Bones. Get him off the team if you.
I don't know why he left the Clippers though, man. Like
because they let him go.
He was contributing though. That's the thing.
Because they didn't want it. It's politics.
Man.
But that's neither here nor there, man. Like there's Rudy. He's unplayable in big moments.
You want to exile Rudy from the NBA? I said that's ridiculous.
Because there's no need for him. He's no need for him anymore, bro.
I don't agree with you on that one though, man. Because even though he can't score,
I don't need him. I don't want him on my team. Period.
So if you're the manager, you're the GM, you would not trade for.
Okay. Look at this.
You were all scorers on your squad.
Let me help you understand something. Rudy's contract is untradeable. Cat's was. If the reverse happened, where Cat's was untradeable, if they could find a trade partner, I'm trying to tell you, the only reason why Cat is going is because they couldn't find a trade partner for Rudy. That's why. That's who they really wanted to trade, because he don't give you a guy. I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna talk dollars and then we're gonna talk cents. Utah gave him a crazy fucking deal. I'm sorry, cuss. I ain't supposed to cuss on here. Utah gave him a crazy deal before they traded him, right? And I think he got like 275, 5 or 275.
Yeah.
Right? And they were locked into that deal. You know what I mean? And then he can't play. But Cat's deal wasn't for that much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If they could have got off Rudy's deal, they would have. But they can't because no one's going to take him. He can't. You can play defense all day, but brother.
Let me help you out with the contract. So Rudy Gobert has a 3-year, $110 million contract extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Right, and they gave him an extension that was worse. They gave him that extension 2 years ago.
He's a value to the team.
What value, bro? If you on the bench, my starters. That's what I'm saying. As a starter, should you be on the bench? Yes or no?
As a starter, should you be on the bench in the fourth quarter?
Right.
I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
No.
Yes or no. It's a yes or no.
No. You can't sit. You can't have a black or white. Yes or no. I tell you.
Oh yeah, absolutely you can.
No, you can't.
Absolutely,
I tell you why. No, why?
We're gonna disagree on that one.
No, because they sub in and out. Are you talking sitting down on the bench for the whole fourth quarter?
No.
We're not talking about situational because some people come out to play offense, some people play the defense.
You are not paying a guy $35 million a year to sit on the bench for the remaining 8 minutes of the game.
No, I get that.
That's like saying Jaylen Brown should be on the bench for 8 minutes. Or Jason Tatum. Those guys are meant to be out there, right?
They're meant to be out in the crucial moments, yes.
Thank you.
You're right.
Now you see what I'm saying? In crucial moments, if I'm paying you $35 million, yes, you can defend, but you better be able to make a 5-foot floater. You better be able to make one.
That's why OKC, what's his Steinberg? What's his name? The center for OKC.
Hartenstein. That's
Marstein.
Right. He plays defense, but he has a floater.
But yes, he has a teardrop. Right.
Right.
And that's his trademark.
He's been in the league 6 years. Rudy's been in the league 12.
Yo, Gobert declined his $46.6 million player option for the 2025-2026 season to sign the extension, which will reduce his salary to $33.9 million.
He shouldn't be in the league, bro.
Oh no, he deserved to be in the league because of defense awards.
Bro, it's too many good guys that's not in the league that he should not be in the league, bro.
He protects the rim.
I'm gonna tell you the reason.
He does.
The
Don't
reason
get him
why
you can dance with him. Like if he's out in the perimeter, it's a mismatch every time. But at the rim,
Minnesota should have went to the finals last year. You know why they didn't?
Don't say because of Rudy Gobert.
Absolutely. You know why? You know why?
What was his liability? It wasn't defense.
It was his liability against the three bigs that was out there in Dallas. They ran him down, and he couldn't. And they could score. That's the thing. They can defend and score. Rudy can only do one thing: defend. He's not worth what he's even making. I mean, and I love it. I know. Don't take me wrong. You know, I never want somebody to stop. You know, making money, but he's not worth it. He's not worth it. That's my problem. That's my problem with Rudy. He's not worth it. Like if I can't have you out there when I need you to be, because I don't need my guys to be playing 4 and 5. And if you're the 5th starter and you're not on the court, again, why are you on my team?
Let me throw a monkey wrench in there because we had the discussion beyond the camera right now. So Draymond Green shouldn't be in the league according to right now. Shouldn't be in the league because he only plays one thing, defense, right?
Yep.
But his basketball IQ will set up other players. Now, granted, I know I'm going somewhere. I know what you're gonna say, but power forward point guard. But his basketball IQ will put other players in position to score. But because of Steph Curry being out, that was the 90% of Golden State's offense.
Right. So you need to step up if you're going to start.
And he tried to shoot threes, and he tried to bring back the 2018 Draymond Green.
It worked,
and he kept hitting bricks.
Thank you.
You know, and then but no, but I hear what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that, you know, although that happens,
and the thing is,
they still in the league and they still making money and they still contributing to their squad.
And the other thing is, Draymond, when Draymond had a 3, he made an active choice to stop shooting. He made an active choice to stop scoring. Draymond did. So yes, that's why I say if you're not even going, if you're going to take away, granted, I don't care how smart you are, you never limit yourself, and that's what he did. He did.
Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert going to be in the gym over this summer shooting threes, and they're going to have a high percentage next year.
Man, look, man, like I'm at a point with both of them. Like I love both of them, but they don't need to be in my league at this point.
You're gonna kick him out the Drew League too?
Yeah. Like I know, man. Like I know Draymond is ultra smart basketball, man, but bro, I felt it like, why does like, dog, in a game 7 he had 32 and 16. Where over these last 9 years did you just decide to fucking stop shooting the ball? Yeah. Help your team. We got Steph. Yeah, Steph is hitting all this, but dog, if you could get Steph 12 to 13 points,
that's awesome.
And I'm not asking, that's the thing. And that's another thing. I'm not asking you to go out here and get 20. I'm not. I'm asking you to be around 14, 15. I'm not. That's not a hard ask.
That's fair to say. And then I don't know what Steve Kerr is saying, or, you know, is he just comfortable and knowing, hey, I got my guys, I'm working with them, and we got a couple draft picks coming in. Because he's been there. And let me ask you this. I'm gonna throw this in here. I wonder what Mark Jackson would have said if he still had the same squad all these years.
The same thing he would have been saying. He gave them guys all the love and respect they needed. It was just, you know, they just wasn't with the whole, you know, what's it called? They wasn't with just the
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they just wasn't on with that. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to disrespect Mark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
word, yeah.
It's just I don't like the fact that they limit what you can do on the court, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the main Rudy not being able to play offense last year was why, why those guys, why the Mavericks beat them.
Yeah.
He was the main reason.
But
Because everyone else was doing what they needed to do. Cat wasn't bad last year in the conference finals. He wasn't. It's just that Rudy couldn't do anything.
But look, let me throw this in here because it's not mentioned too much, and it's shown every time OKC wins. Do you see the camaraderie with all their players after the game? Shea might be getting an interview, but he has his players around him, and they play on the reporter, like throwing towels on them, water, whatever. That translates to the court. I believe that Shea just won the MVP. Congratulations to Shea. He just won the MVP. They announced it this past morning. But you need people around you that want you to win. Their rapport is stupendous on and off the court. You could tell OKC is the number one team right now.
Because they don't care. They just want to win.
They just want to win. Exactly. And together, everyone accomplishes more. So that is a complete team.
Yeah, I just feel like, man,
I still believe in Ant-Man, though.
Yeah, I just feel like at this point, man, like Rudy and what's the name?
You still on it?
Yeah, like I don't care for either one of them. Like professionally, like personally, I care. I love them. Great guys. You know what I mean? Basketball IQ, great. But I hate playing. I hate even when I play basketball. You know what I'm saying? Even watching, I hate when I see teams playing 4-on-5, dude, on the offensive side, because you can't. It's nothing you can do. It's making you work harder. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is we should all be sharing. Like, yes, obviously we know that the star of the team is going to carry the lion's share of the load, but you know how you can make it easier for him on the offensive side? Do something basic. You have basic fundamentals, bro.
Just 10, 9, and 12 or something.
Yeah, like, look, man, if I could give you 12 and or 14 and 11, and I'm not talking about dunks, like floaters, give the offense, give the defense something to have to worry about. Rudy, look, dude, I can literally just sit down there, look at everybody, look at all the celebrities on the celebrity rows, and no, I don't have to do anything. But when the ball go up, just box out. Or if I see Ant going down the line, coming down the lane, just getting away. That's not good, dude.
Bro, when I know we starting to wind down a little bit, but when I was playing rec ball, and I felt myself getting all the hustle points, some of the guys were out there. It's like, all right, when you going to score? Like, all right, we see what you're doing. You got that, offensive rebound. You dish it out to me, but shoot, like, and make it, And that's that feeling. I'm sure these guys, and it's the NBA, and they probably say, well, because it's position guys. Like, okay, we got a guy who can shoot, we got a guy who can rebound, we got a guy who can score, we got the mega superstar, right? Everybody plays a role. Because I remember seeing some of these guys talk. He was like, when you come into to a squad, you have this role. You might be the fifth man, you might be the sixth man, you might be the guy who just sits in the corner. That's what you're getting paid for. And they literally would tell him that. But so maybe Rudy Gobert knows he's the defensive guy. Mentally, he knows I'm going to be that defensive guy. But I hear what you're saying. You have to have some type of contribution in the box score.
In 2025, like I said, in 2025, that is not enough. It's just not. It's not, man. Like when teams know you coming in the game, or I'm like with Mitchell Robinson, I'm going to foul you. You know what I mean? Because I know you're gonna airball the free throws. Or if I know Rudy, all right, Rudy. If we close to the foul limit, I'm gonna foul him. because I know I ain't got to worry about you doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, bro, like it just becomes a point where you don't need those guys on the court on the court anymore.
So you would have benched Shaq in the fourth quarter because you can't hit a free
score,
throw.
but Shaq could score because Shaq would back you down and dunk on you. Shaq could back you down, float on over either shoulder. He did all three.
But will we ever see that dominance as a big man again? Because if you look at these college kids,
you got it.
There's nobody coming in like that in these college kids, man. They make them different.
You got it. You got it with you got it. Well, you do have it with with it when he's healthy.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, you do have it with him when he's healthy. You have it with Joker.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. These are to me. That's the last two. They are last of a dying breed, man.
I mean, Wembanyama is, he's a slinky. He's not going to. If he gets some weight on him, though,
yeah,
he might be something.
Yeah,
one of the post presence.
Yeah, man. So it's just sad to see, but I know I got OKC. I got OKC getting this series in 5. I got Indiana getting their series, and I'm getting to be gracious. I'll give them. I got Indiana getting that series in 6. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't believe either of the teams that they are playing have the stamina and the shooting overall to compete at that level, at a high pace level. At a lower place, if they were playing a reverse role where they were playing somebody like a Minnesota or both, if Minnesota's playing somebody like somebody just equal to them in the pace, yeah, that would make sense. But they're not. And these teams are going to just beat the crap out of them running. And they have skill. Yeah. So I think both of these, we'll probably be talking about the finals, man.
Probably sooner than later.
Yeah, sooner than later, dude. Yeah.
I think I'm not going to jump out there just yet because I've seen this up and down when it comes to the playoffs. But like you, I hear what you're saying. The New York Knicks, I believe their Cinderella season may be over. The playoff run might come to an end with Indiana, and it seems like it's their time. Halliburton, the way he's performing. And it just seemed like this is his leap into the next category, when it comes to discussion great players for the next generation. So I will say in 6, Indiana in 6, but Minnesota, man, like I gave my rant about Ant-Man. I think he's going to find a way to utilize his team with Edwards with the shooting and Rudy Gobert with his defense. And I think it's going to be, that might be a 7-game series when it comes to Minnesota. Listen, Minnesota and OKC, it might be a 7-game series.
They about to go down 2-0 right now. So
what's the score?
Well, hell, they about to be down 8 in a minute. And
it's the second quarter?
No, it's the first quarter.
Oh man, you talking? That's way too early, man.
I'm trying to tell you, it's not gonna matter, bro. Like, as long as Rudy on the court, they're gonna get smacked.
You don't like Rudy at all.
Nah, because there's nothing there. Like, the point is, when you are playing teams like OKC, you're playing a team like Indiana, you need all 5 guys to contribute on both sides of the ball. If only one guy can't do both, you are at a disadvantage. You need all 5 guys to be able to do something, man. If they can't, you stuck.
Yeah.
And that's why Minnesota's going to go down quickly, because they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with Naz Reid is a shooter. He is not a defender. You know what I'm saying?
He is a shooter. I give you that.
Yeah, he's not a guy that's going to back you down. He's not a guy that you have to worry about on defense. So you're losing either way. You're losing something. You know what I mean? So, but this was a good debate, man. A good show. You know what I'm saying? please everybody hit that, like and subscribe on the Because I Feel Like It podcast web or YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Just keep supporting. We're gonna keep coming with the content. My guy Marv couldn't make it tonight, but he will be on the next show. Hopefully everything is working. Prayers up for him as well.
Prayers up, baby.
Please, if you're on the Facebook page, man, give a like and subscribe to the Facebook page as well. You can find me on Blue Sky, man, at Imagine Life 2. I am on IG, Marcus Blackstock. Also hit the like and subscribe to the Because I Feel Like It podcast IG spot, man. My guy Nelson here, man. He's on IG too. You can see his logo there, Nell 2524. We're gonna get back to watching this game, man, and y'all have a good evening. Holla at y'all.